What was 1964 known for? 1964 opened with a series of riots over the sovereignty of the Panama Canal zone. These riots ended with the involvement of the U.S. Army and were a significant factor in the United States' decision to transfer control of the canal to Panama in the 1970s. Another important event in South America that year is the military coup against President João Goulart of Brazil, establishing a 21-year-long military dictatorship. The United States is going through a rocky time against the backdrop of the Vietnam War. The first student demonstrations against the war occur concurrently in New York City and San Francisco on May 2. That same month, young men protest the war by burning their draft cards, the first such demonstration to occur. President Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, officially abolishing racial segregation in the country, although tensions between racial groups remain. In sports, the 1964 Winter Olympics were held in Austria. And Cassius Clay, who became Muhammad Ali in March of 1964, wins the title of heavyweight champion of the world on February 25. In the arts, the British invasion of the United States begins when the Beatles, having released their first US single a few weeks before, perform on The Ed Sullivan Show for about 73 million viewers. In movies, actor Sidney Poitier became the first African American to win the Best Actor award for his leading role in Lilies in the Field. That same year, the movie version of My Fair Lady wins 8 Oscars. Notable births in 1964 include American actress Courtney Cox of Friends fame, Italian actress Monica Bellucci, First Lady of the United States Michelle Obama, and Prince Edward, Earl of Essex. Key world leaders of 1964. Who was the U.S. president in 1964? In 1964, Lyndon B. Johnson, Democrat, was the President of the United States. His term spanned from November 22, 1963, to January 20, 1969. During his presidency, he passed landmark civil rights legislation and launched the Great Society programs to eliminate poverty. Who was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom in 1964? In 1964, Sir Alec Douglas-Home, Conservative, was the UK Prime Minister until October 16, 1964. On October 16, 1964, Harold Wilson, Labour, was appointed as the new UK Prime Minister. Who was the Pope in 1964? The leader of the Catholic Church in 1964 was Pope St. Paul VI, who had held the papacy since 1963. During his papacy, he concluded the Second Vatican Council and issued Humanae Vitae reaffirming the Church's stance on birth control. What was the number one song in the USA in 1964? The number one song in the USA in 1964, i.e. the best-selling and most popular song of the year, was "Hello, Dolly" by Louis Armstrong. What was the number one song in the UK in 1964? The number one song in the UK in 1964, i.e. the best-selling and most popular song of the year, was "Have I the Right?" by the Honeycombs. What was the most popular movie in 1964? The most popular movie and box office hit was My Fair Lady, by George Cukor. My Fair Lady, directed by George Cukor, starring Audrey Hepburn, Rex Harrison, Stanley Holloway, Wilfrid Hyde-White. Country, United States of America. Outline, a snobbish phonetics professor agrees to a wager that he can take a flower girl and make her presentable in high society. What was the best-selling book in 1964? Herzog. Written by Saul Bellow. Outline, This is one of the greatest achievements of Nobel Prize winner Saul Bellow. It presents a multifaceted portrait, with a complex hero who struggles with life's complexity and longs for redemption.